Wait for a second. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 48-hour art check round 23.
Hello. So excited.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So let's
Sorry we're late. That's my fault. My apartment complex is this like big one around town. They have a huge Halloween party. They've decided to close down every conference room, music room, and study room in the whole complex. So I had to walk all the way to campus. It's 19 degrees. It's cold.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'm glad that I could make it.
Me too.
So I'll be wearing a jacket for a bit.
Yeah. Gotta get warmed back up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's get into it. Last 48. What did you do?
For the last 48, I have to add this to the screen. I have been working on this animation. You may remember the garage door animation that I was working on for my boss.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I've been learning a lot about 3D space for that animation, and so you'll just see this really quick. I'm like learning how to make this box kind of fold into each other.
Okay.
So all these other things, this purple is going to be the lid.
Like GameCube.
Yeah, like GameCube. There's a YouTube video showing you exactly how to do that. My boss found it.
Okay.
And so I started working on that today. I've also been working on the coasters slowly but surely. Getting there. And then I don't know, my been like helping people do stuff and kind of like conceptualizing things and project managing.
Yeah.
Not like too much to like physically show, but a lot going on.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do you do? I'll be right back.
Yeah, so we're doing the same thing that we did last week. I'm working on a project that is a secret. I don't want to show it on here in case things happen. So, I showed Kayla, and I actually texted her a picture of it earlier this week, and she's been giving me advice. So she's vouching for me. I am working on a project.
Yep, it is in the works.
Show it. So you'll get to show it later, or you'll get to see it later. I'll show it later. That's what I was trying to say. So yeah,
it'll be awesome. I'm excited.
Hopefully we'll see how it goes. All right, challenges.
As you can tell by my coughing, the weather changed, and like when that happens, I'm normally fine, but I had decided to be dumb and 20 and say, well, I got depressed and unmotivated last week, so I'm going to make up for it and do everything. And so I was like, just got sleep deprived and super out of it. And yesterday I had to leave work because like my hands were ice cold and like shaking, and I had a fever. And then I slept for a while and I felt better. But now I went outside at 19 degrees and I'm coughing again.
So lots of medicine when you get home, okay?
I can't because of the medicine I'm on.
You can't
I actually can't take cold and flu medicine.
Oh my gosh. Kayla.
Yeah, I can't take like I can take like acetaminophen for headaches, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, nothing. Doing really well. Loving my life.
Other than dying, it's great.
Everybody gets sick. I just keep on telling people I don't have time to be sick.
Yeah.
Because like, no.
It is interesting.
What'd you say?
Well, you said you don't have time to get sick, and so it ties in because we're talking about time.
Yeah, and then, being on campus, but I mean, I love campus, and this is a nice classroom, so
yeah,
we have a great opportunity to come in here before 11, so.
Yeah. All right.
Your turn.
I actually didn't really have challenges. I'm like, okay, that's a lie. Figured out what it is. Well, I mean, this isn't a big challenge, but it's something I'm working on right now. My sleep schedule has just become a giant mess. And it's like kind of why I chose this topic this week, because it's something I'm working on. There were 2 nights in a row that I went to bed at 4 a.m, and I was like, okay, as much as I like don't mind it because I don't have a lot to do when I don't go to bed till 4 a.m, I don't wake up till like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then like half the day is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I really get frustrated with that, because I also take a lot of time to get functioning in the morning. Like, I get really mad and angry in the morning, and so I have to give myself time to like be like, all right, I can do this, like get into it. So yeah, I'm just not a morning person, and sometimes the morning is 11 o'clock in the morning. And so by the time I'm like ready to start functioning, it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've got like 3 hours to do stuff before I have to start cooking dinner. And so it's like I have been getting really frustrated with myself, which has bled out into other areas. So I'm reining it back in by trying to fix my sleep schedule, which is challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first couple days I did really good on it, but the problem is now I go to sleep at like 9:30, 10 o'clock is what I've been trying to hit. And then I wake up at like midnight and my body's like, that was a great nap. What are we doing now? And it's like, no. So I need,
You're like, excuse you.
yeah, it's like, that was not the plan. We're sleeping now. So yeah, I'm going to start very lightly medicating myself. So I'm going to like take melatonin at night and caffeine in the morning until I can get it sorted out, because it's not working and it's really bad. So yeah.
Well,
I
hope it gets better. I have stuff to say, but we have a topic.
Wait, what?
I said I have stuff to say about that because I was doing really well until this.
This.
I was doing real well, and then last week I messed it up, and now here I am. So
Yep.
great.
I think we're in the same situation, but yeah, we'll get to it because it's our topic. So next 48, what you gonna do?
Well, the coasters are due tomorrow, so that
it's a good choice.
Yeah, it's a solid choice. I have jeez, I'm so sorry. I have everything I need. I have the font downloaded. I have all that. Jeez. But it's just like I gotta do it. And I haven't done it. And so after we get off tonight, I'll probably have about 30 minutes up on campus until this other person leaves, and then I'm going to leave with them. And so, or maybe I'll stay. Who knows? Might cough up a lung. But my posters. And working on this animation still. It's for my job, and I love it. It's just a pain. 2.5D. Ugh, figuring that out.
Yeah, it is fun.
So, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep working on this project. I've got time on it, but it's still one of those things where I want to get it done so I can figure out like how I'm going to present it. So we're gonna work on that and get that stuff done. So yeah, with that, we're gonna head into our topic, which is time management. As I was saying, it's something that's been on my mind recently, because I have kind of, normally I'm a very productive person, but in the past few weeks I have become not so great at it. And so I've been working on it, and I actually have been reading this really great book that I'll talk about in a second, that has been helping me a lot with it too. So yeah.
Great.
Is there anything that you, before I like delve in and geek out a little bit, Is there anything that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, but I'm curious as to what you're about to geek out about. So I'm gonna write mine down. This is a whiteboard. So I'm gonna write down my ideas.
Oh, she's making fun of me because earlier I mentioned I wrote down everything I want to talk about.
I'm not making fun of you. I just gotta write it down. I'm in a classroom. I may as well use it.
So the first thing I wanted to mention was like within the first 2 pages. Okay, so the book that I'm reading is called You Can Manage Your Time Better by Lucy McDonald. And the reason I picked it out in the first place was because like it's so simply titled and it's like a little sarcastic. Like, come on, you can do it. So I started reading. I bought it forever ago while I was in school because I was like, when I was in school, I really needed to manage my time better. And ironically didn't read it while I was in school. So now I am. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was actually one of the things she mentioned about procrastination. Because you and I have both talked about this, how we like thrive under the pressure of procrastination and like we work better closer to the deadline because like it has to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And there's literally a paragraph where she like hits on that topic. And one of the things she said was I'm going to butcher it, so I'm going to read it. Where did it go? There is a difference between having enough pressure to motivate ourselves to get things done and being in a panic because we're in danger of missing the deadline. And I thought that was very interesting because like, I think it was last week we talked about motivation.
Yeah,
it was last week.
That was last Wednesday.
We were both in a funk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just thought it was super interesting if it's hitting off of that topic we talked about where like you may work better when it's closer to the deadline, but you should be creating your own pressure and your own motivation to get it done before then so that you're not in a panic right before the deadline.
Yes. I have stuff to say on that.
Yes. I figured you would.
Yeah, I do. Sorry, so I understand why the professors complain about the whiteboard markers. Holy cow.
I just saw you throw one.
The trash can. But as far as procrastination goes, I think that it's good and it's bad. As far as managing your time goes, like within procrastination, if you know that you work better procrastinating, like I can say you may as well always procrastinate, but like since I procrastinate, I move my deadlines up before they actually have to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So this way when I procrastinate to the last minute, I get all my work done really fast and then I'm actually like done ahead of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a fun little game.
Mm-hmm.
That I play. But I don't know, I think that like creating your own motivation is good when it comes to like procrastination and stuff. But I just feel like there's always going to be people that work better under like a hard deadline or like that pressure of it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also 100% people that like they crumble under that deadline. Like it wrecks.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm not like that.
It depends on the project. If I've got like 6 projects with the same deadline, I get too stressed to work on any of them. And so that's another reason that like time management is really important for me, because if I know that I have 6 deadlines at the same time, I'll do what you were talking about and move up the deadlines.
That was my topic.
Wait, which one was your topic?
Multiple projects. I had it written down on the board.
Oh,
that was what I was going to say.
Perfect segue. But yeah,
you can't start coughing now.
Hey, I've been sick for 2 weeks. You stole my thing.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, like if I have too many deadlines at the same time, Or if I'm working on one project and I realized I forgot about one, then I freak out and I like, so to me, it's super important to be able to schedule out my projects and to be on top of it, because I will very like, with design projects, I function really great under pressure, but with anything else, I'm like, oh, I don't have time to do it, so I just won't do it, which is terrible and the wrong answer. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Be like me.
No.
So if there's somebody watching, I don't know who, but if you are new to this, then you don't know that I take on too many projects. If you have been here before, you know that I take on too many projects.
Really well.
You know that very, very well. But I love multiple projects. Oh, my goodness, I am so sorry. I love multiple projects because I can pick and choose what I am working on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, there is a point where I have once before, as we have all seen, stressed myself out with too many projects. But I don't know. I like just like having the freedom to do it whenever I want, and like knowing that my deadline is there, and kind of, I don't know, it's like a different way to manage time. Like I have multiple deadlines due like on the same day a lot of the times. I have a deadline on Halloween. It is tomorrow. Like, but in all honesty, I'm not that stressed about it because I know like I work well under pressure like this. And so I think it'll be fine, because the whole thing leading up to it was like I'm good at prioritizing my projects. And so when it's like, okay, this is a group project, this is my coaster project, this is my photography, this is this. Like I like compartmentalize it all. And I'm like, okay, I'm at work now, so I need to work on this animation project. Or okay, I'm at home now, I need to work on my portfolio. Or just like anything like that. I don't know. I think it's good for me because I have this schedule. I will show you. Everybody may think I'm bad at time management, but I'm not. This is my weekly schedule.
Beautiful.
It is color coded. It is by the half hour. And it is Monday through Friday. If I'm supposed to be in a classroom, it tells me. If I'm supposed to be in my boss's office hour, it tells me. Like it tells me everything where I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like the best thing because it's like, oh, okay, in all those yellow spaces, I typically have room to work on the animation that I'm doing for my boss because that's my job. And so I can go do it there. I don't know. I don't seem like I would work well like with multiple deadlines because of like how structured I like to be. But I actually like it a lot more because I feel like I can be more structured with my time because I have more projects, so I have more freedom. Because I can't handle just one project at a time. I get so bored of it, and I cannot do it. I will stop working on something for a week because I'm just like, I'm bored. This has become easy. I don't like it. On the flip side, there are people around me who I appreciate so much that have pointed out to me before that I'm not doing well with my time management. And I have had to drop back on stuff this semester just because of extenuating circumstances and whatnot. But like, I don't know. I love multiple projects. And so I'm going to disagree with you on that one. And I'm going to disagree with you. I love multiple projects.
I don't think you're disagreeing with me though. Like, cause I enjoy having multiple projects. It's the multiple deadlines on the same day is what gets me. So I have
that though.
I have to be very particular about it because I, like, as much as I enjoy the project itself, I put a lot of attention into the final stages of it. Like, I spell check things 20 times because I can't tell you how many times I have sent something in with, like, on my senior project, I sent it to the printers with one word spelled wrong, and it was, like, the word in the title. It was management, ironically. And I had to spend $20 to reprint it. And so it's like, I am super careful about spell check and like, I want it to be presented in a clean, professional way. And so to me, I have to dedicate enough time to make sure that I'm comfortable turning stuff in. It's like the same thing. The only other way I can think to describe it is when I do speeches or talks or anything, I have to have it memorized or I don't feel prepared. So it's like I have to make sure everything is completely ready to go in order for me to feel comfortable turning stuff in.
Okay, that makes sense because I'm kind of the opposite. I use my slideshows. I mean, I've done public speaking for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I'm kind of on a break from it now, as of the past few months. But I have my slideshow and I will practice over and over and over and over again. But there have been times when I am up in front of people and I just throw in something because it's like, this is going to work. And then my speech goes in a different direction. And so long as I follow the slideshow, I'm fine.
That just like made me have a little mini panic attack. Like, oh no.
This is an interesting topic.
Yeah. Well, and that's just how I've always been, is like it has to be finished. Like there has to be an end to it. Yeah. And so like I'm trying not to repeat what I just said. Like that's all my brain is giving me is the thing that I just said. But
no, you're good.
Yeah, so I just need to be able to dedicate my time. So I'm like super specific about being able to schedule my projects. Yeah, which kind of leads into another thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Is scheduling your projects. So like I'd never know because I definitely have talked about it to other people, but I don't know if I've talked about it on this about I can't talk today about back planning a project. Have we talked about that on here?
I'm not the best person to ask, but I don't think so.
Okay. I talk about it all the time, so I never know. But so basically back planning is like, you have a deadline in 2 weeks. And like for me, I know I would like to take at least a day to do like final cleanups, like spell check, making sure there's no stray anchor points, like making sure my case study looks nice. Like I'd like to spend at least a day doing that. And so if it's due on it's due in 2 weeks, I know in a week and 6 days, I need to be completely done with the project and the presentation and everything. And kind of like going backwards like that, where you plan out like every single step of your project, so that you meet your deadlines on time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do, okay.
See, and I figured tonight was going to be very interesting because like, this is very much how I have to do everything. I have to schedule it down to like, almost in some cases, I have to schedule it down to the hour. Like, yeah. So I'm interested in what you have to say about that.
That's where I want to be. But I'm not there. And I think I'm not there because I don't know. I got to think about this. I like to be scheduled with my time, but I also don't like that much. Like for my animation project, it changed so many times that even if I back planned, there would have been no way for me to have like been close to wherever it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And so I like not doing that because I have the ability to change my project as it goes.
Yeah.
However, as a project manager, we have had to back plan. And I am very grateful that we did it this way. We scheduled in a fluff week.
There you go.
This week. And so we're not behind. When last week we should have been set behind, but we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been really nice. I don't know. I feel like back planning is good to an extent, so long as you are allowing yourself to change the project as you go. See, here's what I keep on thinking of. Corey Kerr just did this animation, and it's insane, and he hasn't released it, and so I'm not going to say much about it. But he submitted to film festivals and everything. Anyways, if you've seen his 48-hour art check, he was like on this app, and I can't remember the name of it, and I can't remember half of it, but like it had like all of this stuff scheduled out, and it's because he was on like a super specific deadline, but he also spent like a bunch of time planning it and like day zero and like all of that stuff. Whereas like if I was doing that and I was trying to do an animation in 7 weeks to the extent that he was doing his, which is insane, I would have to do it that way because I would procrastinate and then die the last week of the project.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very like go with the flow on my projects, which is why we're talking about this today because I shouldn't be.
Well, it's not that you shouldn't be. That was something I was about to, it's something I wanted to hit on as well, of the balance of planning stuff out, but then like not getting attached to your schedule, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you can spend a ton of time like making a schedule, but if you start missing deadlines, you have to be able to let it go, redo it, do what you need to do to get back on track. Sorry. I have done both. I have been in a project where we didn't readjust the deadline. We just kept saying, like, we missed 2 big deadlines, and then we just kept going and was like, okay, well, we're still going to have everything done by this time. But it's like we were already behind.
Was it the project I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say it's that one because we talk about it all the time. But then there was another project where it was like I was having to readjust the deadline like every 3 or 4 days because I underestimated. It was one of my very early projects, but I didn't think I didn't think it was going to take me as long to design parts of the project as it did. So I would have to stop and go back and like readjust the projects and like be like, okay, well, I wanted to do this with it, but that's not feasible under the time anymore. And so kind of just like being realistic with yourself about what you're capable of doing under what amount of time. And then being flexible once you're not hitting the deadlines that you want. And if you do end up having like a major change in your project where you don't need to code a whole website anymore, like you're able to switch your project. So as much as time management sounds like you need to be very scheduled and very strict and very like regimented, it like you definitely also need to be able to go with the flow and to change things. So
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't have anything to quite disagree with that at all.
Okay.
Because I do think it's important. I think it is just an excellent, like, it's an excellent skill to have, is to not be married to your ideas. I'm in this media business ownership class, and we all had to write stuff up on the board about like what is something that you're looking for and somebody to collaborate with. And somebody had wrote like not being married to their ideas. And like, I'm just going to come out and say it. There is such thing as bad ideas. There is such thing as wasting time. I disagree with myself. A side note, on Monday, I want our topic to be about wasting time. But could you write that down, please?
I'm writing it down right now.
Because there's not such thing as wasting time. But there's such thing as I will disagree with you.
I will fight you hard on that one. Monday's going to be interesting.
I'm talking about projects. There is no such thing as wasting time.
Okay. When you specify it down to projects, I agree with you there. But in general, you can definitely waste time.
I'll disagree with you on that. But
okay.
Everybody show up to Monday to see a showdown.
We'll have rounds. There's a bell to ring. We'll assign points.
Show up to see a showdown on Monday.
I'll be ready.
I'm gonna be ready. Yeah, I'm gonna be ready now.
All right.
I'm gonna talk to the professors. get all of
I
their
don't think
opinions.
they might be on my side about it. If we're talking about life and
I
wasting time,
think that they would be on both of our sides.
okay. All right.
I don't know. Maybe they'd be on your side, but I will show down with everybody. So, what was I saying, dude?
I don't
got
remember.
distracted.
Oh, bad ideas.
If anybody is watching,
Don't be married. Don't be married to your ideas.
oh yeah, don't be married to your ideas. Like, so if you pour your time into something and like it's just not going to work, give up. Like, be done with it. Move on.
We've actually talked about that.
We did.
Didn't we have one about bad ideas or filling your sketchbook? I think we talked about it and filling.
I don't know. We'll look back. We've done 23 of these. I don't know. We have like
we'll look back through. That's what I did today before this episode. Was I watched back to see if we had talked about any of this. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that like not being married to your ideas is good, especially for time management, because like there's a sunk cost.
Mm-hmm.
How far into this? You know, if I've spent 14 hours on this, I'm like, this isn't gonna work. Maybe if I spend another 20, it'll look a little bit shinier. You know?
Yeah.
Just why are you gonna put 34 hours into it? What was it? Professor Kerr was like talking about this in class, and he was like, if your project is a turd, you can shine lights on it all you want, shine it up all you want. It's still a turd. It's still a bad idea.
Was this in 462?
This was 100% 462. Yes, ma'am.
We have to talk about that after.
But it was just like if this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
Go on with your life. And so I think I'm contradicting myself so much in my head right now about the whole wasting time thing. And that's not a
we'll get into it on Monday.
I know, because I might be like kind of switching sides as I'm thinking about this. I don't know. I have a lot of different points.
Yeah, write them down. Save it for Monday.
I'm going to. But just like there's a sunk cost. Manage your time. If this project is not worth your time, if this project is not going to get you anywhere with your life, and you would like it to get you somewhere with your life, you need to substitute it with something that's going to work. Why are you working on the one that sucks? Like, just gonna be like flat out, you know? And I think that's a part of time management, because that's like being able to manage yourself, manage your priorities. And like, seriously, like if you're going to put another 20 hours into something and all that you're going to do is make it look a little bit shinier, like it doesn't matter. It's still going to suck.
Yeah.
But this being said, there are good projects, and I'm not saying that all projects are bad. I'm just saying that there are bad projects, and there is such thing as sunk cost. So
that is actually that ties into another thing that I read in this book that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So it's called the Pareto Principle, and I probably said that really wrong. It's also called the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
And I'm going to say it, and then I have to explain it because I had to read it like 4 times in order for me to understand it. But, okay. It's the idea that 20% of time and effort drives 80% of results. Hold on, because I disagreed with that at first. And then, of course, the opposite is true. 20% of results take up 80% of the time. So.
Okay, read that one more time.
All right.
I'm gonna listen to it again before I formulate my opinions.
Yeah. Well, and I have to explain it before you formulate your opinions, because I also had opinions right away and then I had to reread it. Okay. The idea that 20% of time and effort generate 80% of results. The opposite is also true. 20% of results take up 80% of the time and effort. Okay. And this is how you have to think about it. So with the first sentence, so she brought in the titles of it called The Vital Few and The Trivial Many. So that 80% of time that's driving the 20% of results is the trivial many that she's talking about. So you're spending 80% of your time working on a bunch of stuff that's not helping you progress at all. And then the opposite side of it you're only spending 20% of your time on all of this stuff that would be helping you grow and progress. So that's what she's saying.
Okay.
If you have bad time management, that's what's happening, is you're spending 80% of your time and effort on things that really don't help you. And you're spending 20% of time, you're spending wow.
You good?
You know what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot how this tied in to what you were saying. Oh, bad ideas. So you can end up with working on a project that isn't going to get you anywhere, and you could end up sinking a ton of time into this project. And so the idea of like being able to let things go, not being married to your ideas, being able to change things when you need to is super important in time management, because you could be wasting your own time instead of moving forward with a different idea.
Yeah.
I got there.
I agree with it.
I was worried that wasn't going to come out right.
No, I agree with it.
Did it make sense though? I'm really nervous about it. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like, I don't know. I don't like the 80-20 thing, but it makes sense.
Well, so here's the thing. This is what I really like about this book, is they introduce a principle and then they give you an exercise where you go through and you like record your time for that week and then you break it. So the exercise that goes with this one is you literally record everything you do in 15-minute intervals for a week. And then you go through and you label everything. So it's personal and work. And then you like divide up, okay, these were all personal things that I did, and these were all work-related things that I did. And then you decide which of those things were helping you progress. And then you can look, I did it. And I'm not kidding. Like, it's a real thing. So like, you spend, and like, you really don't think that you do until you sit down and you record it. But yeah.
Okay.
You can come back to it on Monday.
No, it's not one of those things. It's just like, I have the opinion of like, I don't know, 80 and 20 isn't my favorite thing. Like, I feel like if you give 100% of your time, you're going to get, 100% back from it. Like, you're going to get stuff back from it.
Okay.
And so, I don't know. But I also, if I did the 15-minute thing, it would be like 90% of your time is spent at work. 5% of your time is sleeping. 5% of your time is YouTube. Like, that would probably be mine.
Yeah. So I think just to kind of help with how you're feeling of that like you are giving 100% of your time and effort. It's just 20% of it is going to things that it shouldn't be, or 80% of it is going to things that it shouldn't be going to. And 20% of it is going to things that it should be going to. But you're still giving 100% and you're still getting 100% back. It's just some things are more important than others is what it's talking about.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what else did you have on your list?
Okay. Sorry, I'm just like, okay.
No, you're good. You want to see this? Check this out.
Yeah. Are you not listening to me right now? You're not?
I am listening to you right now. I'm listening and animating at the same time. I do it all the time. At work. I do it all the time. Something.
Oh.
Anyways, I am 100% listening to you. Did you not hear me disagreeing with stuff? That means I'm listening.
Amazing. The other thing that this is kind of like the big main, like, big takeaway from this episode. This is the big important one.
Okay.
That in order to be able to manage your time, you need to have priorities and you need to have goals.
Agreed. Okay.
So, like, literally nothing else. Like, you can't manage your time if you don't have things that need to be worked on. And so it's so important to set goals and deadlines and stuff for yourself to push yourself and make yourself better. And then managing your time will just help you achieve those goals. But over everything, it's so important to have priorities and goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. And just something on that too is like your priorities may not be the same as somebody else's, and your time management may not be the same as somebody else's, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong.
Yeah.
There is, certain priorities that you should be putting above other stuff. And, that's like your mental health, your sleep, your, like the being able to eat, like managing your time so you go eat food, stuff like that, which sounds like super basic, but I do want to put that out there.
Yeah.
But like, if something is important to you, you're going to learn to make time for it. And I mean, I think that we've learned that a lot with this 48-hour art check.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've learned that a lot this semester, particularly. And it's just kind of like coming down to managing your time. Yeah, if you don't have anything that's important to you, you don't have any time really to manage.
Yeah. Because you can just be doing whatever you want with your time.
Yeah, you can be doing whatever you want with your time. Now if, I'm spending 2 hours on YouTube, like, what am I getting out of that? I'm relaxing. My mental health is like, I'm not like going 20 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, that's something that I'm gaining from that. And so like, when you are managing your time, something that I'm learning, and so I'm not like trying to like tell everybody else like 100% do this, like, but something that I'm learning is like scheduling in time to make everything that like may not seem like a straight priority,
Mm-hmm.
a priority as well. So like, let's say I have my coaster to work on tonight. So I got to do that. I have this animation that I'm working on right now as we're talking. So I just need to fidget and work on something as we talk.
You're good. I'm just teasing.
No, I know. But so I'm working on, if I had a second screen, you would totally be able to tell. But just like something like that, like when you're able to prioritize, you're able to manage your time better.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are people that can prioritize but still not manage their time. Hello. But I think it gets easier when you do that.
Yeah.
And I did want to like kind of say like sleeping is important.
Yes.
You brought up sleep schedules at the beginning. I was on a really good sleep schedule until about 2 weeks ago. And like I was going to bed around like 10 or 11, waking up around 7 or 8, like doing really well. And then I let my priorities like get all messed up. I let my time management go, and here I am, on campus at 8:30 at night on a Wednesday, which is the first time I've ever done that. But it's just one of those things where it's like priorities are important, and just because your priorities aren't the same as somebody else's priorities doesn't make them wrong. And just because your time management is different than somebody else's doesn't make it wrong either.
Yeah. And
that's why you need friends and like people around you that respect the way that you choose to manage your time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The way you choose to prioritize, because it makes your life a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I like my roommates. I love them. I don't think they quite understand how I manage my time. Because to them, they're like, dude, like you're not going out with us a bunch. And I'm like, yeah, but like I got all this other stuff I'm doing, and that's just more important. I'm just rambling on. So if this doesn't make sense, stop me. But I'm gonna keep going if it doesn't make sense. Does it make sense?
Well, there was something I wanted to jump off of what you were saying. So is it okay if I jump off of that podcast? Okay. So the part you were talking about where like it's important to like prioritize mental health and sleep and eating food. This for a fact I know I have talked about before, but it ties in and it's really important, so I want to mention it again. But Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, there's something he talks about in that book. It's called sharpening the saw.
Yeah. We discussed that in class.
Yeah. It's something, it gets talked about a lot in the communications department, but it's super important because I think at least at our school, communication students have a high tendency to burn out because we're like very motivated people. But so sharpening the saw is basically talking about how it's kind of that like idea that I think it's a quote from Abraham Lincoln, but like, if you are going to cut down a tree and you've got an hour to do it, you should spend the first 45 minutes sharpening your saw. So the whole concept of it is there are certain things that you have to do to keep your mind, body, spirit, and there was a fourth one. But basically, there are things that you have to do to keep all of that in shape. And if you don't pay attention to that, and if you don't work on that, you are going to start slowing down and burning out, and you're not going to be able to work on your priorities. So it's so important to take care of those things. For me, especially during finals week, I had to write down in my schedule, this is when I'm going to eat dinner, because I have a very high tendency for when I'm stressed and when I'm working on something to forget to eat. And that's kind of a really important thing that you can't like put off. I mean, well, you can put off, but like,
I mean, we were in Professor Kerr's office last semester, and we were all sitting there, and one guy from our team went and got us all Chick-fil-A.
All of us had been working all day long. We hadn't stopped, and he came back and brought in food for us, and it was like kind of what we were talking about of like, I mean, we weren't talking about it, but that was like a super helpful thing that like none of us were really thinking about it, but all of us were hungry and getting frustrated.
Yeah, we were running on donuts and Chick-fil-A because there was this teacher that was like trying to hand out donuts, and Kerr was like, go to my office.
6 kids in there that would really like it.
There are some kids in there, and they really need food.
Yeah.
And so we were all running on like donuts and Chick-fil-A, and I mean, the next day too, like we had to order pizza.
Yeah.
Because like we just weren't thinking about it. Our time was being managed, like, because to us we were managing our time well because we were on a strict deadline and we had to get it done. But like we were letting a lot of other stuff go.
Well, and here's the thing is if we had managed our time correctly 2 months ago,
listen, this is not time
to have been in that room that day. Like,
is this time to be salty though?
No. But I'm just saying, if we're talking about time management and we're talking about, you were saying we all thought, but I agree with you though, through that whole project, we thought we were managing our time well. I specifically remember I had a breakdown 3 weeks before the deadline and like freaked out because of what I was talking about. I feel like I'm really loud right now. I need to calm down. I'm not yelling at you guys. But because I put so much attention and detail into like finishing up a project, the fact that we were 9 weeks into a 14-week project and we weren't finished with it, or at least 90% finished with it, was a huge anxiety thing for me. And I remember saying then, like, okay, we need to be really pushing. Like, we've got 1 week to finish designing everything. We've got 1 week to break and rig the characters and make sure everything works right. And then we've got 1 week to finish animating. And that got ignored and that didn't happen. And a week went by and then everyone was like, oh crap, like we really need to do things. And it's like, yeah. I guess the thing I would say with that is, I mean, like, procrastinating is good, but it's always good to like give yourself time to procrastinate.
There's an appropriate time to procrastinate, and that's not when you're in a group project. Well, like, if you procrastinate by yourself, then like do that.
But I also think
what I'm hearing from you.
Kind of. Okay, so the big thing with procrastinating for me is you need to know when you need to actually start it. Like, if you have 3 weeks to do a project and you're going to procrastinate it, you need to like know when you personally need to start working on that project. Because at some point you're going to procrastinate too far and you're not going to be able to get everything done to the standard that it needs to be done. That's my opinion on procrastinating.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm
No, that was all I needed to say about that.
I'm like,
now I feel bad. Yeah.
You're good. I would have muted you if you were going on about something that didn't pertain.
But yeah, just knowing, like, and it goes back to what we said earlier in the episode, is like knowing how you personally are going to work on stuff, knowing how long it takes you. I mean, go ahead and procrastinate, but back plan after you're done procrastinating. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly because I've never been, like, I was good at procrastinating in high school, but like in college I got really bad at it, so I had to stop. And yeah, that's why I'm really interested in time management.
I don't know. I just like that I'm listening a bunch right now.
Well,
as we talk, I feel like sometimes there's like this perception, because we have like this live stream, we do all this stuff, and we're 23 episodes into it. I feel like there's kind of like a perception of like, oh, they obviously know what they're talking about. Like they're good at time management, and it's like, no, we're talking about the fact that we really messed up last semester because our time management was terrible. And this is why we're talking about this topic, because like in both of us, I mean, like both of us can look at ourselves right now and say, yeah, I'm not doing great time management.
Yeah.
And so I think we're sharing this because neither of us want to get back to that point last semester, because I was like, I never want to relive that ever again. And I know I will at some point in the workplace. But it's fine. But like, it's just one of those things where it's like, we're not like professionals or anything. Like, well, professional is a very loose term. That's another topic that we could have. You can classify yourself as a professional if you want. I'm gonna steer away from that word and recant my statement. Neither of us are like 100% knowing what we're doing all the time. But we talk about stuff like this because it's like, we want to talk about our mistakes. We want to talk about like our successes, because other people need to learn. Like, we need to learn. We need to be able to look back on this episode and go, oh, wow, we went all over the place, but we had a lot to say about time management.
Well, and just to bounce off of that, 100% the reason that I chose this topic is because my time management is terrible right now. Like, my sleep schedule is off. I'm not getting things done like I need to be. And so this is definitely like, it's selfish, but it's a reminder for me, because I know I'm not doing good and I need to get back to like a place where I'm doing good with time management. So yeah, I'm not claiming to have the answers. This is like a little reminder sesh for me for what I need to be doing. So
that's good. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm finished with my list of things I for sure wanted to hit on. So what were some, for the last 8 minutes, what were some things you wanted to talk about?
This isn't on my list, but I'm curious about it because I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
Multitasking. It is 100% multitasking.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, this does not have armrests. Sorry.
I now realize that.
I've been focused.
I know. That's why, like, I like that you just now noticed that.
There's a lot of mixed things about multitasking. I want this to be a topic that we do, but I want to bring Kerr on, because he has a lot to say about multitasking, and he knows like a bunch of like research behind it and all this stuff. Anyways, where multitasking goes with time management, I think that I have the opinion of like, multitasking is great. I love multitasking. There are classes, you look like you disagree. So I'm going to finish what I'm going to say before you disagree with me.
Yeah, I'm going to let you finish.
There have been times where I am in class and I have to be there for the attendance grade and I'm not learning anything, so I will do something I'm interested in. However, and like right now, we're talking. I know what we're talking about. I can jump off of your ideas. I've proved it this whole episode. But I like multitasking. I think it's a good way to like use your time efficiently. You know, like if it's something, not if you're learning something completely brand new, like that's not a good idea. Mm-hmm. But like for me, it's like, oh, I'm rotating squares on the x-axis and using keyframes to do so in 3D space, and then I'm I'm just talking about animation now, but like it's just like super easy like for me to like understand all of that and listen to you and do both of those at the same time. Whereas for somebody else, if they don't know animation, like what I'm trying to do, that would not be a good idea to multitask. But I don't know. I really think multitasking is like a super useful skill when it comes to time management.
Yeah.
Like if I'm watching TV or something on my phone, I'm usually working at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always have to have something going in the background or something, like two things going on. Because like if I'm watching my phone and animating, then on my phone, I feel like I'm getting kind of a break. And on the screen, I'm getting work done.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't know. I'm a huge fan of multitasking. I think it's a great way to manage your time if you can do it. If you can multitask. Not everybody can multitask, but if you can, it's a great way to manage your time.
See,
your thoughts?
It 100% depends on what you're doing. Because what you said when you were starting to talk about this, I definitely have been in classrooms where like I have been working on a design project the whole time and not even like paying attention or like, but see, and that's what's difficult for me is when I design, my brain tends to shut down and I can feel that I'm only focusing on what I'm designing because like I literally one day watched an entire season of a show and had to rewatch it because I was designing the whole time and I had it playing on the side, but I wasn't even watching it. And that for me, it's because I need to like have some sort of sound to like distract part of my brain, but I like cannot focus on the other thing if I'm designing it just because it takes up like all parts of my brain basically.
That's fascinating to me.
It's what?
That's fascinating to me because I am not that way.
Like I've tried to be like the fact that you're designing and like having a full-on conversation with me right now is amazing. Because, like I'll be on multiple times. I'll have been on the phone with my mom and I'll start designing and I'll go into the yeah. Like I'll slip right into that and like not even notice that I haven't heard her for the past 5 minutes. And so I think it 100% depends on the task that you're doing. Like I talk about it all the time. I can wash dishes and like watch YouTube at the same time because they're both like equally mindless things to me. But if I'm designing or if I'm writing a paper or if I'm like reading a book, it has to take my whole attention or I'm not like doing it well.
Okay. I'm interested by that because I've done the thing on the phone where it's like, yeah, totally listening. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
I've done that before where it's like it really does depend on what I'm designing, what I'm animating, anything like that. But because I've been working on this project so much while I've been in my boss's office doing other things, I think that this project has kind of just become like one of those things where it's like, I'm going to design and I'm going to animate and I'm going to do this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think it's interesting because like the more that we talk, the more I realize how similar but different we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can totally like animate and do this and be fine with it. But again, like I've totally felt myself hyper focusing on stuff before. And then it's like, okay, I can't be doing this while I'm in class. Okay, I can't be doing this while I'm on the art check. Yeah. Like I cannot sketch and talk to you at the same time. I can't because while I'm sketching, I'm putting new ideas on the page.
Okay.
While I'm animating, I'm working on something that's already there.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't like take like the creative part of my brain to sit there and animate this little box, which I'll show you what I've gotten done at the end. But like it doesn't take like the creative part of my brain, which is like, I guess I don't know much about brains, but here's my shot. Like it doesn't take the part of my brain that like it's taking for me to like have like a creative conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's just using the part of my brain that's like, oh cool, I can move this and hit all of these. Like I just go into like auto mode when I'm animating now. It's just like, oh, I'm just gonna do this and have a conversation with somebody as I do it. I don't know. I've totally done the phone thing though, and it seriously like depends. Like if I'm working on an icon set and talking to somebody at the same time, I probably shouldn't be doing that. I'm probably not paying attention to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious to see. We're talking more about multitasking, and that's a topic because I really, really, really want to see what Corey Kerr has to say about it.
Yeah, I've got it written down so we can talk about it another time.
But if you can do it, I think it's an excellent way to time manage. I seriously do. You don't, but I do. And
we'll
I
don't know. I'm not saying anything because we have it written down for another day, and so I will share my opinions.
I'm trying to get back to time management.
Yes,
is where I'm going. I'm not endorsing multitasking. I am, but but I'm not disagreeing with Kaitlin on this. I'm just saying that like if you can do it, I personally believe that it's a great way to multitask depending on what you're multitasking.
Yeah.
Like, don't be doing your design project on one screen and your animation on another screen.
Yeah.
You know, that's a bad idea. But, like, if I have time to work on an animation and I can have a live stream chat with my friend about time management at the same time, like, yeah, I'm going to do it because, like, why not? I can animate at the same time and get that done while I talk.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it comes down to my priorities. My main priority is the live stream. And so, like, if my main priority...
You were about to say your main priority was the animation, and I was going to be like, well, great. Here's the links.
I wanted to say it just to mess with you, and then I realized it was live. No, my main priority is the live stream, and so whenever I found myself paying more attention to one thing, it was the live stream over the animation. Mm-hmm. And so, like, yeah, that also comes down to that whole time management thing. If you're doing two things and you're trying to multitask, choose one that's more important and the other one
do kind of one task instead of two. Is that what you're saying right now?
I'm not saying that at all. I will never say that. If you have the ability to do two, you should be doing two.
But does anybody really have the ability to do two? All right.
Do I have the ability to do two?
We're saving it. We're having another episode. It's super funny because the two things, wasting time and multitasking, are the two ideas we've written down. I swear we're going to end up fighting that whole time. Like, it's just going to be the both of us disagreeing with each other.
Salazar, welcome. Welcome to the live stream.
Yeah.
You've missed us. God. Our friendship is going to be
most today, except about wasting time and multitasking.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, we're not going to be like super like mean to each other.
No, we're just going to disagree.
Have stuff to say.
Yeah.
Disagree.
My conflict management notes before we get into it. All right.
I'll make working on the animation in the background. Okay, you want to see what I've done? Did not mean to kill you. Okay, look, you ready? Oh, my computer just stopped making noise. Oh, because you muted yourself.
I muted myself because people didn't want to hear me cough the whole time.
Ta-da!
Very nice. It looks very good. I'm proud of you.
Multitasking works. Anyways. You can go.
Anyways, do we want to do closing thoughts really fast? Or
no, because this topic was too all over the place.
All right. Yeah, if you want to see any of my stuff, this is my Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I also have a website. I also have a YouTube channel. Surprise, you're on it. Wow. All right. Never doing that again. All of the links are down in the bio. If you want to see any of Kayla's stuff, this is her Instagram.
Yep. And then I just added a new one for Twitter.
Oh, you did?
Yep. Right down at the bottom.
And then your website's on it as well.
Yep.
And then what else is down there? Your YouTube channel is also
my YouTube channel. My Twitter is where all my updates are going. My Instagram is being really weird and won't let me update the link. Anyways, but you've been on here, so hopefully you've seen the post on my Twitter that said, hey, come join us. Here's our topic. But yeah, check that out. My portfolio, I did not add it to yours, so it's not here, which is fine because it's still under construction. But yeah, come join us on Monday to see us
talk about either wasting time or multitasking or using this word professional. We will decide and let you know.
We'll decide to get off of this. Anyways, thanks for watching.
Thank you so much. Bye.